Hey, this might be a good time to cover the subject, but I don't have enough memory to really go deep into it. When you make reference or library references, because I don't hold the way that my library runs. I don't hold a lot of stuff that's in my library anymore that others would hold in their library that they share with you, which is information. A lot of it is based on history. Okay, history in the context of the way that I explain it by virtue of what I experienced, because I'm not supposed to experience anything less than eternity. Okay, because that's what I am. I'm an eternal love vibration. Okay, so I'm not supposed to experience anything less than that, no matter where I go. Scale that. Now, with this lady called Gigi Young, which is really, I love her, was talking about in the olden days of the Irish countryside, people used to come in contact with all sorts of creatures like unicorns and centaurians, where they would be like part whores with human heads, and let your imagination just fly, like I did when I was a little kid. And this is particularly true why I love cartoons so much. Remember Yogi the Bear, Boo Boo, Grape Ape? I mean, you can come up with anything, a 4,000 foot gorilla, and use any kind of shape, form, and color that you wish, right? And so the way that this works for me, the way that I perceive it, is based on your core vibration. If you're running an eternal love vibration, that's love is the absence of fear. That means the energy that is represented by your vibration, the core blast furnace, you're experiencing an eternal love vibration. Okay? So if I'm out in the forest somewhere, like I was one evening driving with somebody else, and the next thing I know is Dan sitting next to me, we're driving and through this place in Irvine called St. Peter's Canyon. You can look it up, and it was known as having some scary creatures. So we're really talking about energy, the form and spiritual flow of the energy. What does the energy feel like? Okay. What does the energy communication feel like? So it can look like anything. I've talked about this before when I was a kid growing up, what's called the ink blot test. If I show you a print, which is the shape and the color and the form, and I use the example of a hat that looks like a black witch. If you never knew and had it anywhere in your memory that a black hat was represented by the witch with the green face, which is inverted, which was the Wicked Witch of the East in Wizard of Oz, that's inverted. Okay, green, go green or die, and yet she represented the black. Ooh, she's witch. Remember the witch, the black witch, right? And the green. And so you see how that works with chlorophyll. A dead witch, a black witch, black arts, right? Oh, but I got a green face. See? That's how their inverted reversal current works with math and geometry code to invert the consciousness, to experience which gets transplanted or transprinted, transcribed into your cellular memories. Because what they're presenting to us is what we want us to believe by virtue of the color codes and the translation of what we experience based on the story that's being told and experience that we experience in us represents fear. Oh, I fear a black hat. Really? If nobody ever told you what a black hat represented and you just looked at it as a black hat, and you're experiencing a love vibration, you're not in fear of a black hat. That means you were programmed to respond that way. That's called input, which is called a presentation. That's programmed to have a fear-based response. That's how it works. That's programming. So what happened is on that particular evening, as I realized that, hey, it's getting cold in here. I'm feeling something that it's dead. There is something dead in this car. So what happened is I realized that the power of its energy, which is like kinetic energy, the ability to use its energy to make physical things happen, that I became aware of by taking my foot off the accelerator, my hands off the wheel. How did I know to do that? Because I knew that it had control of the vehicle. Using its consciousness, directed energy to do that. So then as I was saying to Dan, guess what? I'm not driving this car. And as soon as I looked to my right, there was a warlock. And it would look like something you would see in one of the old-fashioned Tales of the Crypt shows they used to have on once a week back in the 1960s, right? With the lady that sort of looked like the Addams Family lady. And so what was happening is that I'm experiencing a state of love. I experienced an eternal love vibration. So now I'm experiencing an eternal love vibration. That's my normal vibration. I'm experiencing eternal love. That's a high energy unit. Now I'm experiencing something next to me that's running dead energy. Now I'm experiencing what it is. And it's in fear of my energy. Because a love vibration is the absence of fear. Fear is in fear of what love is, which is a fear vibration. That's 100. That's a low vibration. That's a low frequency. So now I'm experiencing what it is, which is what fear is. I'm experiencing its fear in me. Okay? You see how that works? That's called energy transfer. That's an energetic vampire. Because now I went from an eternal love vibration to what it's experiencing. See how it works with creatures? So what it has to do is we're talking about frequencies and vibration. Everything is frequency and vibration. So that means that my antenna, no matter where I go, was picking up mapping the frequencies and the codes, right? It's represented by the energy that is there. So what that means is I can walk through a forest and I'm mapping what's out there, right? Just like I shared the story with Bigfoot, right? Aaron's ran into Bigfoot. And the day that I could experience that I could hear him first because he's big. Now we're back into mass and density. I could tell by the density, okay, that was breaking twigs, the approximate weight of a biped. So I knew this wasn't a human, okay? And this wasn't a 4,000-foot gorilla, right? Somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 8, 9 feet, something like that. Probably weighed what? Maybe 400 pounds? Somewhere like that. Big enough that if you walked across a twig like that, it would crack it. But somebody that's 165, 85 pounds, you wouldn't experience that crack. So you're actually mapping the density of the consciousness that is walking across the planetary consciousness terrain. So you're measuring the density of the consciousness that is running the vehicle, which is a Sasquatch vehicle, a Bigfoot vehicle, right? So I saw him. There he was. See? So now you're looking at the shape, form, and the colors now being presented to you on your TV screen, right? But I didn't experience any fear in him, and he didn't experience any fear in me. So we were both checking each other out. So he was picking up on my signal. You know, scalar waves, booming it out. And so his antenna picked up on my signal. So he was able to translate that signal. So he came down to say, hi, hey, how's it going? Right? So those are transmitters. Those are antennas. That's what we are. DNA is an antenna. You're picking up on the signal. As a signal's intelligence.